Good day, human Latiosites. This is LatiosAzurill, and I am announcing right here, right now, that I am entering the Major Battle League. It is a, well, as the name suggests, a battle league. And in the league are only 6 contestants. So, yeah. So, shout out to everyone else in the league. Super Duper Pokemon, Random Stuff Vaughn, Natewick, ZG Gamer, and Ashu. They are the competition. So, that said, it's going to be fun, I'm sure. Now, the other day, a few days ago, we did the draft for the Pokemon we will be using in this league. So, basically went down through tiers to decide which Pokemon we'll be using. So, here is your Philadelphia Froakies. Alright, so for the first pick for PU, I chose Ditto. Now, Ditto does have some pretty cool tricks up its sleeve, but I don't know how much use I'm really going to have. It's going to be mostly about mind games, I'm thinking. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know how much I'm going to be using Ditto. It all depends on what my opponent's teams look like. Like, I've already gone together. I was considering what my opponents were having while I was going through my second round draft picks. That said, let's move on to my first NU pick, which was Ludicolo. So Just Dance is just sitting there dancing, which is always fun. Now, the great thing about Ludicolo is, unfortunately, I don't have Drizzle on this team, so it's going to be a little bit of a fish out of water, because we're not going to have the rain. I might go give something Rain Dance, just so we can set up the Swift Swim, which would help us significantly. Now, the good thing is, it's really good typing, having Grass and Water Stab, plus Ice Beam coverage is always appreciated for those dragons, as well as there's a weakness to flying. On the other hand, it all depends. Talonflame is a huge threat. I don't think anyone in the league has Talonflame, so that's not too big of an issue there. Obviously the offset by Aerodactyl. I don't know if anyone has Aerodactyl either, though. On the other hand, Swift Swim could come in handy for that. So Ludicolo just has good typing all around and should be pretty useful for this team, especially with coverage for both grass and water, as well as that ice coverage as well. So, my RU pick for me was a no-brainer, and for most of you guys out there who have been following this channel for a while, no, it's of no surprise. My favorite Pokemon to use in battle, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon of all, Cinccino. So yes, Cute Scarf will be participating in this league. I was sure to pick Cute Scarf, the Cinccino. Now, with a King's Rock and Skill Link, this thing is fast already, so being able to just get those flinches off is key. Great coverage with access to Rock Blast and Bullet Seed, plus the chance of flinch. Tail Slap is really good stab, and there's also one more slot free for some kind of coverage. So, Cinccino is all around a really good Pokemon, and it was my pick for RU. So then it got a little more interesting. So for UU, I decided I wanted to go with something a little bit bulky, or a little bit of a tank. So I decided to go with Porygon 2, another Pokemon I use quite often, I must say. So Just Ducky will be having some fun here. Porygon 2 gets some decent coverage. I don't just use it as a stall wall, I just don't do it that way. I probably could, but like I said, Porygon 2 is extremely defensive, plus it has a decent enough special attack that it can do some work. Because it gets that stab tri-attack, plus it gets some decent coverage, it has access to recovery on top of the potential Eviolite. So Porygon 2, I feel like, is a pretty good help, I think, in this league, hopefully. Of course, my team so far does have quite the weakness to fighting. So, For my OU pick, I picked Latios. So, right here, the shiny Latios, I think, will be pretty useful. Latios just has some decent, it has a decent special attack, it has a decent enough speed, it has decent enough coverage, it's just an all-around good Pokemon. It has access to recovery, it has access to Shadow Ball, it has Stab Psychic, Stab Dragon Pulse. If I choose, I could go with Draco Meteor. I haven't officially decided on the movesets yet. That said, Latios, I feel like, is going to be pretty helpful for the team. So my next pick, we went back to PU. I figured this is going to be a mon I'm not going to be using too much, but still could be useful. So I went with Ursaring. So Papa Bear is in the house. Decent coverage all around. Guts boosted, so if anything decides to Willow me, joke's on them. I mean, access to fighting coverage, ground coverage, dark coverage, normal coverage, all sorts of coverage, which is decent. The problem with Papa Bear is somewhat bulky, not that defensive, all things considered. Really good attack. Problem is not that fast. So, pretty much a lot of opponents are going to be running circles around him. But I'm thinking if he can get in a decent hit, then that will be decent enough, I would think. Plus, access to Facade on top of Guts. Trust me, if someone decides to go for some kind of a status on Papa Bear, they will regret it. Let's be honest. So my next pick for NU was actually Vivillon. Now, I've always really liked Vivillon. I like the Pokeball design, let's be honest. So, this is actually one that I was given by a subscriber quite a while ago, and it has done really well for me, I feel like, in the past. It has Compound Eyes, which does help with landing those Hurricanes, should I go for that. Decent stab with Bug Buzz. I mean, all you need to do is set up a Quiver Dance, and you're free to go with that thing. Now, the big issue is it doesn't really take care of priority opponents, so that could be an issue. On the other hand, I'd probably want to set up the Rain Dance if I want to guarantee landing a Hurricane. So I might want to have a Rain Dance user on the team, plus another slot for some kind of coverage. Vivillon just all out a pretty good Pokemon for NU, and was my second NU pick. So, for RU, I decided to go with something that has some decent defense, but ultimately can land some nice special attack and some coverage for us. So, my pick was Slow King. Slow King. Gotta get that special defense rather than defense. It is not the Mega. It does have Regenerator like Slowbro does, so it does get that decent recovery there. Also, it has access to recovery moves. There's access to some coverage moves there. Stab is always good. Just all around, it's a decent mon, and I feel like it could do some work. Now, as the name suggests, it's relatively slow, but it does get a decent special attack. So I'm thinking, with enough defense, it should be good enough to do well in this league. So, for my next UU pick, I decided to go with something else that would be a little bit defensive, because I've been going for a lot of offensive mons thus far, except for Porygon 2. So my next UU pick has been Cresselia. So I'm thinking Luna can probably do some work here. Just start setting up some Calm Minds, and we'll probably be good to go. Defensively, hopefully we can tank out a few hits. Hopefully. Now, this isn't a stall Cresselia, this is more of a Calm Mind and a Calm Mind setup that I'm thinking. I mean, there is access to recovery, which is always convenient. I know there's someone in the league who does have a Mega Charizard Y, so I'm thinking I might go with Moonlight, which can potentially do well in the sun. As far as their stab, Cresselia does have access to Moonblast, which would be very good fairy coverage for this team. Plus, like I said, Calm Mind is just really good all around with getting special attack and special defense at the same time. So, my next pick was my next OU pick, and I decided to go with my Mega for this one because I hadn't picked the Mega Evolution yet. So I decided to go with Mega Metagross. So, the thing with Mega Metagross is it is really powerful. Now, one good move for coverage to give Metagross would be Earthquake. The problem I have with that is it wouldn't get a Tough Claw boost. So I may or may not go with Earthquake. I haven't decided yet. One of the good things about Mega Metagross is you get that Tough Claw boost, plus you have access to Priority Bullet Punch, which is extremely good. Getting that Priority, plus Stab, plus the Tough Claw boost can definitely make the difference, especially considering I've seen some stally Pokemon out there. I know that there's a Chansey and a Sylveon on the same team that I'm going to be facing, so I'm thinking this is my solution to Sylveon because the Toxic Stall is not going to work on Metagross. It's going to force a switch out, which is going to give me a free, I guess if I go for some kind of a move for setup, that would definitely help at that time. So I'm thinking Mega Metagross can do some damage, plus if on a switch in, if my opponent decides to go for some kind of a status problem, I do have the Clear Body before Mega Evolving, which could come in handy. As far as the, Metagross is going to hit like a truck, so I'm not too concerned about the attack. It's Mega Metagross. I don't have anything else to say about that. So my next pick, I decided I definitely needed ground coverage because, trust me, I'm going to need Pokemon that are going to be fast and are going to hit hard. So for my next pick, I decided to go with Landorus T. So the good thing about Lander is he can hit pretty hard and pretty fast if I decide to Scarf him. I mean, Stab, Earthquake, access to Stone Edge. I mean, you can just U-turn out, and it's always another slot, so I'm thinking that he can probably put in some decent work. Plus, he does have that nice Intimidate, which can help out with opponents that might decide to, you know, either set up a Swords Dance or just be an all-out attacker. This way, physical attackers might have to think twice about me switching, which could come in handy in the long run. One of the big problems is a quad weakness to Ice, and I've seen quite a few Ice Mons in the league. I know that one person in the league did go with an Articuno, so we have to be a little careful there. If we can land the Stone Edge, that is great. If we can't, then we'd be in some trouble there. So, plus it's also really good for those Charizard, because I know there's a Charizard X and a Charizard Y in the league, so we're going to have to deal with that stuff. Hopefully for the X, we have Earthquake access. For the Y, we have access to Stone Edge. That should come in handy in the long run, unless I decide to go for something like Rock Slide for a chance of flinches. I haven't quite decided yet. I think crits might be more convenient, but I don't know. Let's see what we can do. So for the final pick, I decided I needed some kind of coverage for Fire or Electric or something, because I don't thus far have a Fire or Electric Pokemon. So I decided to go with Victini. Victini does have access to V-Create, which is so powerful. Problem is, it does diminish stats pretty quickly. I mean, also access to stuff like Fusion Bolt, which could come in handy. Stuff like, if I go for a special one, Fusion Flare, I'd probably go for a physical. I haven't quite decided for sure yet, based on the Pokemon I already have. I have a lot of special attackers to begin with. So Victini does have some decent stats all around. Pretty good stats. I mean, they're, I think, base 100 anyway, so Victini is a pretty good all-around, just good for coverage, and just good for this team. I probably will be using it quite a bit, thanks to the fact that I don't have any other Fire coverage on this team thus far. So that'll probably be something I'll be dealing with. Plus, I know a lot of my opponents have been going with a lot of grass and poison Pokemon, so one of the good things is, for poison, I do have a lot of Psychic. As for the Mega Ampharos, I do have access to, I guess, Latios to go for a Dragon Pulse, for instance, or I could go for a Landorus with EQ. I mean, for most stuff, I think I do have decent enough coverage. I can go for some kind of a, either a CC or a hammer arm for the Regigigas that I know that, that one of my opponents will have. I mean, ultimately, I think this team does have a fighting chance, so hopefully it goes well. That said, thank you for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the Major Battle League, and all 6 of us in the league. We will be uploading the battles on our respective YouTube channels, so you'll be able to see both perspectives of every battle, probably post-recorded. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. I don't know if it's regulated how we're going to do that. Probably going to be post-commentated, most likely. And yes, but don't forget to cheer for your Philadelphia Froakies in the Major Battle League. So thank you for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the Major Battle League. Goodbye.